Fairy tales are easy inspiration for creating quick D&D adventures. They can be run as whimsical fae-themed folk tales or twisted tragedies for dark fantasy campaigns. My name is Ben Byrne, and here are 4 twisted fairy tales to use in your D&D game. A troll lives under a footbridge and refuses to let anyone cross without paying a toll. Merchants can't get their stock to market, and villagers can't visit sick loved ones. The troll isn't even keeping the gold that it earns, it's throwing it away in the river. Exacting the toll seems to be a game or a cruel display of power to this creature. The party is hired to deal with the problem, and slaying the troll is the simplest solution for a quick plug-and-play side quest. The troll keeps 3 giant goats as pets, which act as minions in a fight. But I'd actually use the giant boar stat block because it's a little bit hardier, a little bit harder hitting as well. If you want to make this side quest bigger or tie it into your main story, allow the party to talk to the troll and find out why it's living under this bridge. Has the troll fled here from a larger danger growing in the deeper wilderness where it's originally from? Was the troll sent to guard the bridge as a punishment by an archfey? Fixing the root cause for why the troll has suddenly appeared here might solve the quest without needing to resort to violence. Maybe gifting the troll a goat as a pet could be another way to get rid of him. You could also add more flair to this side quest by choosing a different troll stat block. Does a spirit troll haunt the bridge? Or is a rot troll spreading decay to local farms and villages? Do the multiple heads of a dire troll constantly argue while trying to reason with the party? You hit the like button. No, you hit the like button. An overgrown and abandoned castle sits on the edge of a dark forest. It's famous in the region for 2 reasons: the roses that bloom there and the beast that lairs inside. According to local rumor, the castle once belonged to a wealthy duke. After he offended the fae spirits of the forest, he was cursed and transformed into a beast. It's claimed the beast still guards his noble wealth, and many treasure hunters have tried to recover this fortune, but none escape unscathed from that rose-grown castle. A more insidious rumor is that the beast's curse will be lifted when a maiden falls in love with him despite his hideous facade. Many opportunists have sent their daughters, sisters, or spouses to the castle, or traveled there themselves, hoping to inherit the beast's gold through marriage, and not one has returned. Your party might learn of the beast and his castle through tavern rumors and be enticed to recover his treasure for themselves, or an old merchant might approach the party telling them that his daughter went to the castle hoping to lift their financial burdens. He begs you to bring her back safe. I really like the French architecture and details of the beast's castle as it's depicted in movies and artwork. The shadows that envelop its beauty create such a dark melancholy. Plan the beast's castle out like a large dungeon. Each room could include the bodies of previous explorers or suitors, hints about what sort of monster the beast is, and story clues about how the beast became cursed in the first place. To make the castle feel haunted and lonely, I would make most of its encounters constructs. Use animated objects like armor, flying carpets, and swarms of books. Use stone cursed, which are petrified victims reanimated. This mirrors the fate of the beast's servants in the original fairy tale or the French version, who were all turned into statues. Perhaps a ghost from one of the beast's past victims can act as a social encounter inside the castle and a way to unlock more clues about the beast's curse. And as to the beast itself, I'd use the Lonely Sorrowsworn stat block. Not least of all because this upsetting eldritch abomination isn't the monster your party will expect. But also this monster plays into the themes of loneliness and longing that are present in the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale. How tragic that the beast simply desires a friend, but he inadvertently frightens and murders everyone who travels to visit his castle. Even worse is the fact that most folk arriving at the castle, whether they're suitors or explorers, are searching for wealth, and not friendship. I would make a few changes to the Lonely Sorrowsworn stat block, however. I'd probably buff its health up just a bit to make it more formidable, and give the beast both lair and legendary actions. The lair actions would probably be focused on animating objects in any room the beast was present, allowing him to always have minions nearby to shield him from damage. The legendary actions would be movement and escape focused. When the beast is harmed by the party, he flees from combat the first time in despair, realizing that they're intent on killing him, not helping him. This means the party might encounter the beast more than once, and gives them opportunities to decide to try and lift the curse rather than simply kill the monster. We covered how to cast and break complex curses in 5e in our last video here. Breaking the beast's curse could be a puzzle unlocked through exploration of his castle. Perhaps a rose plucked from the castle garden could be used as a cure component for casting Remove Curse on the beast. Or maybe the specific rose kept beneath a glass dome in the castle's main bedroom is required. Or it's possible no spell is required at all if a character simply presents the beast with the rose as a sign of friendship. In gratitude, the beast opens his treasures to the party. Or it's also perfectly fine to have your party simply slay the beast and take the treasures. But having both options provides your party the agency to choose their own outcome. Grim adventures and twisted fairy tales are also available in Lairs of Etheris, which you can get right now on D&D Beyond. Bargain with capricious fae like the Bone Trader, or learn why telling lies is a habit that can get you killed. Lairs of Etheris is an anthology with 20 horror adventures and 75 plus new monster stat blocks for you to terrify your players with. There's also a handful of new spells and a salvage crafting system which players will love, and you can hit the link right up there or down in the description to access Lairs of Etheris through D&D Beyond. And it helps support the channel as well, so thank you. An alderman has boasted that his growing village is the greatest in all the kingdom, and it thrives without the aid of capricious nature spirits. The alderman tells farmers to tear up mushroom circles that appear in their fields. He instructs hunters to take freely of the forests and dines nightly on wild boar and elk. Trees are cut down to build more houses for the growing population with thatched straw roofs. But none who mock the Fae courts should do so lightly. One dark winter, a gargantuan black wolf with hackles higher than the woodland trees emerges from the forest. The wolf levels the village with a freezing cold breath and eats everyone it can find. And yet the alderman escapes, surviving for another year. Rather than learn his lesson, the alderman raises a wooden palisade around his village. He boasts that no monster could possibly break through such a fortification. And in the next winter, the wolf reappears, breaking through the palisade with ease and once more slaughtering the innocent villagers inside. Again, the alderman survives, but now he's frightened. He builds a fortress of brick and stone in the center of the village, boasting that no Fae could trouble him now. The remaining villagers, however, are left out in the cold, fearing for the big bad wolf's return. And there's no room in the alderman's fortress except for himself and his personal guards. Your party is hired by the villagers to hunt the wolf as winter approaches. Will you face it in the village? Or do you hunt the monstrosity in the forest before it attacks? There's obviously a bit of background to this story before the adventurers actually arrive, which your party can learn by investigating the village, talking to the alderman, and even exploring the forest. If you speak with the forest fae offended by the alderman's words and actions, they're willing to leave the rest of the village alone in exchange for only the alderman's life. The party could always enter the alderman's fort, fight through his mercenary guard, and bring him to justice. Does his cowardice deserve such a punishment? Or will the party face the big bad wolf? I'd use an adult white dragon stat block, which can huff and puff and exhale its freezing cold breath. Remove its flying and burrowing speeds, and you basically have a giant boss monster winter wolf with legendary actions. What moral will you choose for the end of this tale? I know, Robin Hood is technically not a fairy tale, but a story of noble chivalry versus ruffian banditry is a morally subversive tale perfect to be told in a dark fantasy campaign setting like the Shano Kingdom of Grimhollow. The Marquis de Jean hires the party to hunt outlaws who target carriages on the roads throughout his lands. But tracking down these bandits is not easy. Asking village locals and hearing rumors in taverns notices a pattern in the outlaws' attacks. They're targeting wealthy noble carriages and never lone peasant travelers on the road. That said, they're not above taking supply caravans transporting vital food, iron and timber, and they're not scared of attacking armored escorts, often slaughtering the guards. The heads of the Marquis de Jean's aristocratic allies are left on roadside pikes. Knights sent to hunt these outlaws are found hung from trees and riddled with arrows. These outlaws are clearly more than petty bandits. They're a fully armed militia, gaining strength and resources with every successful pillage. What's worse is that the peasantry is actually siding with the outlaws. Many are taking to the forests to join the bandits in taking up arms against the Marquis. Through investigation, the party eventually learn the outlaws' leader is a disgraced knight named Rob the Strider. His family once owned land in the Marquis' realm. Rob claims his title and lands were stolen by the Marquis after murdering Rob's family. The outlaw plans to depose the Marquis and redistribute his wealth. This campaign is a civil war, and the party get to choose who to side with. Is Rob's cause honorable, or is his bloody rebellion a violent grasp for power? And who are the supporting characters on each side of this conflict, which act as story hooks for the player characters and they complicate the narrative further? Does a party member have a love interest in the Marquis' court? Has a character's mentor joined Rob's rebellion? Is there a lovable friar frequently visited for guidance? Draw up a map of the Marquis' land for this campaign and dot it with settlements. Track which villages are loyal to the outlaws and which are loyal to the Marquis, and these can change as the campaign progresses and the party help and hinder each side. This campaign's climax ends with the party either attacking or defending the Marquis' castle, depending on which side won their allegiance. To make Rob's outlaws feel like a dangerous warband that can threaten an entire realm, watch this video for strategies to make bandits terrifying enemies in your D&D game. Or for more twisted fairy tale inspiration, this video explores the cruelty and malice that makes fairies formidable foes to your adventuring party. Subscribe to the channel to join our Dark Fantasy campaign and discover even more tips for building frightening D&D worlds.